The Bapedi traditional leaders, led by the Marota royal house, opposed to the recognition of Queen Manyaku Thulare as the ruler of the Bapedi nation, will meet to discuss the kingship. They are also opposing the creation of a position of prime minister announced by the Queen in the past few months. Here's SABC News reporter Lutendo Bobodi, who's in Apel in Limpopo, and joins us now for a live update. So, Lutendo, let's start here. Queen Manyaku Thulare has been recognized as the Queen of Bapedi. Why has this matter not been resolved at this stage?
Yeah. Well, that's quite an interesting question, but it's also interesting, Collis, that every kingship throne in the province is under some sort of contestation. And it is something that's even the premier of the province, Dr. Bapedi, in a SOPA address, also spoke about it, kind of appealing particularly to the Bavenda people just to resolve these issues. If you look at Batsonga, Bapedi, Bavenda, Balobedi, there is some sort of battle or some aura of contestation around this throne. But what is the bone of contention today, in particular with the Bapedi throne here? And today, as you said in your intro, the Marota Council house or a traditional house is opposing to the creation of the position of the Prime Minister of Bapedi people as given to former Premier of Limpopo, Advocate Ramatlhodi, and also, of course, the appointment of Manyaku Thulare as the acting Queen. But for now, for more information and something that will surely answer your question, I'm joined here by Emeritus Hoshi Sitlamrao Tabejane, who will give us more information on this particular matter. Hoshi, really, thank you so much for your time and your patience.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about this particular meeting. You seem to be gravely concerned about certain issues that are unfolding within the Bapedi throne. Just elucidate more on that. Talk to us about it.
Thank you very much. We as Marota Royal House, we are constituted by the 17 houses of the right descendant of King Thulare I of the Bapedi kingship. And I'm sure since around 70s, the Marota kingship of the Bapedi has never been settled in order, basically because of the disputes of who's elder than the other one. And we have been taking a bit of a backseat until now of late that we realize that we are the custodian of this kingship. If we ourselves does not, stand up and, reunite ourselves, build the empire that we have inherited from our forebears, therefore this kingship will remain what it is. Anyone will say, here I am, this one will say, here I am, and we are now on the right path of building the unity of the houses. Hence you are seeing us here. All the houses are expected to be here. Not only them, today we even called the broader Maoshi of Skukune, who should come and be informed of the progress that we have already made since we have reunited. In the process, what make us to rapidly converge, it's when we get this announcement of saying Advocate Ramatlhodi, former Premier of Limpopo, has been appointed the Prime Minister of the Bapedi. The position that has never happened in our, kingship. We never heard of the kingship. We do know of it from the Zulus, where they're talking about Intunenkulu, and then we just make it, to be English and said Prime Minister. It is not. It's an Indunenkolo. And Indunenkolo cannot be, established out of foreigners, people who are not from the inner circle of the very same, royalty that we are talking about. And whoever thought of a Prime Minister should have consulted all of us, the 17 houses, and ultimately the entire Maoshi of the Bapedi and the nations themselves, to say we want to create this on the basis of 1, 2, 3, that we see it to be important. Nobody did that. What appeals us was that the acting Manyaku as declared by the court, not us. And we are not going to contest her outside this environment. We need her back into the court. That's where we'll say the court should know the truth, and this is the only structure that can speak on behalf of the kingship of the Bapedi. And then by so doing, all what we are doing now, we have set up structures. The constitution today will be adopted, and immediately we adopt the constitution, we will use the constitution to take her to the higher level and said, we don't know her. We know she is part of us as from a descendant of Thulare, but we have never discussed her name. We have never think of putting her where she wanted to be. Let the court and the government allow us space, we as Bapedi, to settle our own dispute and address it. We will let them know who is the senior amongst ourselves. Then we'll be able to pronounce the kingship of Bapedi.
And I speak under correction, but I understand that the issue of the appointment of Manyaku Thulare is now in the Court of Appeal. Can you also explain, talk about?
Of course, we are not part of it. We know that the day after tomorrow, I'm sure on the 18th, the very same Limpopo High Court will then be hearing this matter and then finalize it in their own way. But like I'm saying, the constitution that today will be adopted, it will be the constitution that will guide us in who should become, the head of the Bapedi, who should be, in the helm of the kingship of the Bapedi, what kind of structure do we have to put? And we're not just going to sit and choose. We will look at the seniority, who is the highest house of the Bapedi, legitimacy and all these things. But on top of it, the constitution spoke about transparency and accountability, that whoever sits there should not become, part of the kingship, capture that we are envisaging to see if we don't, intervene. So we will want a leader that will become accountable, the leader that will become, responsible and protect the wealth of the Bapedi. This Bapedi have got a lot of, wealth. Minerals that are here are abundant to an extent that can feed everybody in the whole of Bapedi, and including Limpopo and South Africa. But unfortunately, because we are without a leader, people are seeing it and taking it for granted. They are looting and taking and enriching themselves without even feeling ashamed of the people of Sekhukhune. Look at Sekhukhune where it is today. There's no water. There's no any institution of health that is preparing for diseases that will emanate from these mines. Nobody is caring about us. There's no institution of higher learning that prepare our own young people to know that we have our own minerals. We should have mines, and we should take over the control of these mines. All these things are there for foreigners, people who are coming from outside to come and loot what Sekhukhune does have. We need to make sure that we protect, preserve and take care of it and feed our own communities, create jobs for our people, make young people to become education in a relevant way of the education that will lead them to take over the control of this mine. That belongs to their ancestors.
Thank you so much, Hoshi.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much. When it comes to contestation of the throne, it's always faction there and another faction there. We'll be speaking to Manyaku Thulare faction pretty soon, and we are hoping that they will avail themselves for us, so that we can hear, we can gauge their thoughts and their mind, also and know their view about this particular meeting that is being held today here in Apel. The chiefs are here, the Hoshi, they are here just to try and talk about this particular issue, this contestation within the Bapedi people. And we'll be, of course, giving you more updates a little bit later on.
Tell you what, we're certainly looking forward to that. That's Lutendo Bobodi in Apel in Limpopo for us on that story.